Hey, 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 Facebook, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Make sure you let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. Who's here and where you are tuning in from. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to share. My God, my God. Huh. Mm, mm, mm. Come on in, you guys. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, Stacy. New York in the house. Ooh. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, Port Orange in the house. Come through, come through. Hey, Corey. Hey, Jackie. All right, you all listen. You know, God is so amazing. And one of the things that I think that we forget in our quest for planning is God's plan. Now, I know today's topic is God's plan, and we're going to talk about his plan as everyone is making their plans for 2022, as everyone is closing out 2021 and the plans that they made for 2021, they're assessing them and they're trying to see, did I get done what I said I was going to get done in 2021? What am I going to do in 2022? Well, listen, today I'm going to come to you and I'm going to talk to you about God's plan and how God's plan is so prevalent as we are making our plans. You know, the word says many are the plans in a man's heart, but God, come on now, God is the ultimate establisher of plans. So let's go to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs is the book of wisdom written by none other than King Solomon. All right, Proverbs 19, we're reading from the New Living Translation, starting with verse 20. Get all the advice and instruction you can, so you will be wise the rest of your life. You can make many plans, but the Lord's plans or the Lord's purpose will prevail. You can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. So let's talk about it. You know, as I've been closing out the year and getting ready to do vision strategy sessions this next 2 weeks, helping people to really get clear on God's plan for their life, God's plan for the next year, and writing the plan, right? Writing the plan. Because the word of God is clear that we are to write the vision. But this is why I wanted to talk about this. When the scripture says that you can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. That thing right there, oh, that's facts. We can make all the plans in the world. We can make our 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year plan for our life, right? We can write it all out and say, hey, in 10 years, I'm going to be here and, I'm going to be here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And God can shift stuff on you. You don't believe me? Listen. I know throughout my life, I've made my plans and my plan was one thing. And then God would come in and shift my plan. Let me go back. Let me go back in time a little bit. Let me go back in time. When I was in high school, I knew that I was going to go to college. That's all I knew. I didn't know what I was going to major in. Like I had no idea, right? But I knew that I was going to go to college. I knew that was a part of God's plan for my life. So when I went to college and I was trying to figure out what I was going to major in, I took a class. And in this class, I was like, oh my God, this is it. I fell in love. I found my passion. That class happened to be a communication class. right? So between communication and psychology, I knew that I had found a home. There was something about these things that naturally resonated with me that I just was like, oh my God, this is the path. But guess what? I thought my plan was public relations, because you can make some money in public relations. But when I began to realize the amount of hours that you put in and how little money that you made starting out, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do this. And then someone mentioned something to me that changed the course of my life. They said, have you ever considered graduate school? Well, first of all, no, I hadn't. I was a first generation college graduate. I hadn't considered graduate school. Why? Right? I didn't really understand that. I didn't understand how it worked, right? And I met some Black PhDs, Black people with doctorates of education and doctorates of philosophy. And I said, whoa, like we can do this? And my plan shifted. So then I'm looking at graduate schools. Well, where am I going to go to graduate school? Well, where am I going to go? Right. So I looked at some different schools, different programs tried to recruit me. In fact, the University of South Florida in Tampa flew me here to look at their program, to check out the city, to see if it's a place that I might be. Now, listen, God had a plan for me to be in Tampa, but not then. Y'all understand that? God had a plan for me to be right here in Tampa, Florida, but not at that moment, not at that time. But he began to lay a foundation. He began to lay the framework for me coming back to Tampa, and I didn't even realize it. You see, sometimes God's plan is unfolding as we're going along through life. We don't understand all of it, but he's giving us glimpses, letting our feet touch, letting our eyes see, so that we can kind of have an idea maybe of what is coming. So I go on and I end up going to graduate school right there in Kentucky. I get my master's in a year and a half. Then I go into my PhD, and then I go, because my goal was to teach at an HBCU. I wanted to teach at an HBCU. I wanted to be a president in the HBCU. For those of you who don't know, that's a historically Black college and university, right? So that was my plan. Like that was my plan. That's what I wanted to do. So I went and I taught at Kentucky State University, and I taught there. And while I was there, I, found myself falling in love with the students falling in love with me. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And I remember when I was finishing my PhD and I was looking at tenure track positions, and I got an offer from the University of Nebraska. Here, I'm talking about Nebraska. I didn't know nobody in Nebraska. Like, Nebraska was cold. It was lily white, but I went. I interviewed. I really wanted to be at Kentucky State. I wanted to teach those students who looked like me. I wanted to give back there. And I remember going to have a meeting with the president of the university at the time. And, I told her that I'd had an offer, and, they were looking at paying me like $25,000 a year. I was like, that's a lot with a PhD. And so what she told me was this: you have to do what's best for you. I was like, dog, but I would have thought, y'all would want me here. Listen, my plan was to teach at Kentucky State University, be a tenure track faculty member. I wanted to go to one university. I wanted to teach there all of my career and retire from there. That wasn't my life. That wasn't God's plan for me. I look at the lives of some of my friends, and while that may not have been their plan, that's what happened for them. They went to one university, they taught at that one university, and they're retiring from that university. That's where they did their entire academic career. They had that stability, and I didn't. All I really wanted was the stability to be able to do what I really desired to do, and that was to teach those students who looked like me, to grow those institutions, who would know that on my journey, I'd go to several predominantly white institutions, have challenges there, and end up teaching at another historically Black college. And I thought, this is it. Man, I'm going to be at Tennessee State University. TSU. Doom, doom, doo, 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 doo. But God had another plan. Now, the interesting thing about God's plans is that God's plans don't always make sense. Listen, here I was at Tennessee State University. I had just gone up for tenure and promotion to full professor. My packet went through with no problems. I was tenured and a full professor. Hey, I was on track with my colleagues who went straight through, even though I had a break. And that summer, God told me, okay, now leave. What? You see, as we are making our plans, we've got to understand that God's plan always supersedes ours. And he always has a reason for everything he does. I left the university. I ended up going through homelessness, ended up moving to Florida. Now, if I hadn't left that job, I would not have moved to Florida. I wouldn't have been in Tampa probably, you guys, but ended up in Florida. We were homeless for 5 months. And I'm saying, God, what are you doing? Like, I'm not understanding this. This doesn't make sense. We had to start all over from scratch. Married to my ex-husband for the second time, the father of my children, and I'm trying to figure it all out, because in my plan there was no do-overs, there was no going back, there was no second chances on that. No, I'm not doing that. What? But God had a plan. Never in my life would I have imagined being married 5 times, right? Like that was not in my plan. Like, I wanted to be married one time to a man that I grew old with, that we had children and grandchildren, and we got to see our great-grandchildren. We were able to sit on the porch in rocking chairs and rock. But that was not God's plan. Now, I understand that when we think about God's plan, we think that it's all neat, like it's wrapped very neatly with a bow on top with your name on it. And while it does have your name on it, it may not be wrapped so neatly. It may not be the perfect shaped box, may not even be a box, right? So the wrapping paper may have wrinkles and the bows may not fit perfectly, and your name may not even always be visible, but it doesn't mean that your name is not on it. We make plans, but as we're making our plans, we've got to remember that God's purpose is going to prevail. If God's purpose was for me to be in Florida, but it was not for me to be in Florida then, right then, there was a reason. See, everything that God does has purpose. There is a reason behind everything. So when your life looks messy, don't panic. God's purpose will still prevail, right? I think a lot about Habakkuk. You know, that's a chapter. That's a chapter that people talk about a lot, of scripture that people quote a lot. But I don't know that people always are fully engaging that scripture. Let me just share it with you, and let's talk about what Habakkuk is saying, what God is saying to Habakkuk. Okay, so let me go there. Okay, starting with verse 1, and it says, I will climb up to my watchtower and stand at my guard post. There, I will wait to see what the Lord says and how he will answer my complaint. Now, this is what you got to understand. See, in all of this planning, Habakkuk has said, hey, listen, I got some questions. I got some issues. So chapter 1 is his complaint. Chapter 1 is his complaint. In chapter 1, Habakkuk is complaining to God. He's saying, God, how long do I have to call for help, but you don't listen to me? There's violence everywhere, but you don't come to save. Must I forever see these evil deeds? Why must I watch all this misery? Listen, y'all, I don't know. Maybe y'all can't relate to this, but I know I can't. Those times when I've gone to God and I said, God, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but listen, how long I got to go through this? Wherever I look, I see destruction and violence. I'm surrounded by people who love to argue and fight. The laws become paralyzed, and there's no justice in the courts. The wicked far outnumber the righteous, so that justice has become perverted. Does that sound like a time that anyone is familiar with, like now? And then God answers. He says, look around at the nations. Look and be amazed, for I'm doing something in your own day, something you wouldn't believe if someone told you about it. I'm raising up the Babylonians, a cruel and violent people. They will march across the world and conquer other lands. They are notorious for their cruelty and do whatever they like. My God, today, their horses are swifter than cheetahs and fiercer than wolves at dusk. Their charioteers charge from far away. Like eagles, they swoop down to devour their prey. On they come, all bent on violence. Their hordes advance like a desert wind, sweeping captives ahead of them like sand. They scoff at kings and princes and scorn all their fortresses. They simply pile ramps of earth against their walls and capture them. They sweep past like the wind and are gone, but they are deeply guilty, for their own strength is their God. So now here's the second complaint. Oh Lord, oh my God, my Holy One, you who are eternal, surely you do not plan to wipe us out. Oh Lord, our rock, you have sent these Babylonians to correct us, to punish us for our many sins. But you are pure and cannot stand the sight of evil. Will you wink at their treachery? Should you be silent while the wicked swallow up people more righteous than they? Are we only fish to be caught and killed? Are we only sea creatures that have no leader? Must we be strung up on their hooks and caught in their nets while they rejoice and celebrate? Then they will worship their nets and burn incense in front of them. These nets are the gods who have made us rich, they will claim. Will you let them get away with this forever? Will they succeed forever in their heartless conquest? I will climb up to my watchtower and stand at the guard post. There I will wait to see what the Lord says and how he will answer my complaint. Well, first of all, I don't know who Rebecca thought he was, because who are you to be coming at God like this, right? But y'all know that's what we do. That's what we do. Come on, let's be real. That's what we do. So then we get the Lord's second reply. Then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets. Right? Whose answer? His answer. See, sometimes when the scripture is cited, and we just say, write the vision and make it plain, it seems as though the vision is our vision, but the vision is not our vision, it's God's vision. He says, write my answer plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the corrected message to others. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Now check this out, because I want y'all to really get this, because we're going to go back to Proverbs 19. We're going to go back, but listen, I need you to understand whose answer you're looking for. You're not looking for the answer that just comes out of your head. You're looking for God's answer. In other words, as you are planning, it is your job, your obligation, and your responsibility to consult the one who made you for your answer. Oh, you can write all the answers you want, all the plans you want. You can do all of that, all you want, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-year plan. You can write all of that. But it does not matter what you write. What matters is what is God's purpose. See, listen, you can do all that right, and God said, no. And you can say, but God, I just spent 2 years putting together this amazing plan, only for God to say, no. But you think about this. I don't know if you guys saw the movie King Richard about Richard Williams, Venus and Serena's father, but he wrote like a 70-some page plan. A 70-some page plan for how he was going to take two girls and make them the world's greatest female tennis players, right? Like greatest, like they were going to win all of these Grand Slams, Wimbledon, all of these things, that they would be amazing. 70-some pages. And we saw the plan play out. Do you think that that plan was just his? Do you think that he just came up with that? Or do you think that maybe he got the vision from God and he began to write the vision and make it plain so that they who read it could run and not faint, that they could get the correct message? Okay? See, when we plan with God, we set ourselves up for our plan to be fulfilled. When we plan with God. When we plan just in our own strength, in our own mind, in our own understanding, we're going to miss it. Why? Because we don't know the end from the beginning, but he does. And so even if we make a plan, the plan changes, he shifts the plan. Listen, he knows his purpose for our lives. He knows that because he created it. He gave us our purpose. Before we were ever formed in our mother's womb, he already had purpose for us. We had purpose, we had destiny, and we still have it. The question becomes, what will you do? What will you do with it? Will you listen to him for it, or will you just decide that you're just going to do it on your own or do what someone else told you to do? We go on as the Lord is replying to Habakkuk, who in all his arrogance got all these complaints. Okay, sounds like me. I'm just saying, sounds like me. Let me read it again. Write my answer plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to God. Wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many people. Listen, it's not just what you have, it's how you get it. I know we all have things that we desire. We all have visions of where we are to be. And yes, even some of those visions that we've gotten from God, like he's shown us where he's taking us. He just hasn't shown us how he's taking us there, how he's going to get us there. And sometimes in our anxiousness, we try to get there ahead of him, or we try to get there on our own, or use our own path, or create our own pathway. But it's in God's answer. It's in God's answer. See, what you got to understand is that God's answer is the answer. It's the ultimate answer. It is the only answer that will, without a doubt, be fulfilled. It's so easy to look at other people's lives and say, God, it just was so easy for them. But we don't know what happened behind the scenes, and we don't know how long it took, and we don't know what they went through, and we don't know. And sometimes we get so busy caught up in this thing called comparison, comparing ourselves and our lives, our relationships, our work, our money, our bank accounts, our ministry, our looks, our shape, our weight. We compare all of those things to other people, and then we're frustrated because we don't look like them, or it didn't happen for us as quickly. God's plan for us was a spiral, wasn't a line. There were ups and downs, hills and valleys. It doesn't mean it wasn't God's plan. It just means that everybody's journey is a little different. What did you get in that valley that you were last in, your last valley? I want you to think about your last valley. And maybe you're there now. What is it that you're getting in that valley? What is God doing in that valley? What is he revealing to you in that valley? You see, we get things so twisted. Get them so twisted. We think that it's all about a destination, when truly what it's about is the journey, and how you navigate the journey, how you show up on the journey. Can I share something with you? And prayerfully, it will bless you as you are in whatever season you're in, whether you're in your mountaintop or in your valley season, right? Doesn't matter which place you're in. We're all going to be in both places multiple times throughout our lives. In fact, our lives are cyclical. If you haven't noticed this, pay attention to your Facebook memories. What you'll discover is every year around the same time, you're in about the same place, talking about the same thing, going through some similar stuff. Cyclical. Life is about cycles. And the cycles continue until you learn the lesson, and then you're able to move into your next thing. So let me just share this with you. I got a text message last night. 2021 has been a very interesting year. But I got a text message last night. Someone significant to me is in the hospital, in ICU. And I said, God, what? And you wonder. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that wonders. you know. But you wonder, God, where is your plan in this? Where is your purpose in this? Like, what is all of this about? And even as I say it now, I hear him say, redemption. Sometimes redemption doesn't look the way that we think it's going to look. Sometimes it looks to us like loss, but to them, gain. Sometimes redemption is bloody, it's sacrificial. It involves nails and piercings. It involves mockery. It involves people doing things to you that you normally just wouldn't allow. But God is still yet redeeming. And maybe, just maybe, the challenges that we face to strengthen us for even greater challenges. And maybe, just maybe, the things that we go through are designed to move us from relationship to relationship, from business to business, from place to place, from experience to experience, to build our character, our strength, our fortitude. In fact, maybe it's designed to show us that we are unbreakable. In January, and I don't think this is an accident at all, I'll be speaking in Greensboro, North Carolina on January 8th at Lanice Washington's Shatterproof Conference. If there's anything that I would say about me, it is I'm shatterproof. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't been in a place where I was broken or bowed down or any of those things, but never totally shattered. Nah, shatterproof. I'm not saying there might not be some stuff that chips off. There might not be some things that have to be glued back together. Some pieces might have to be put back together, but shatterproof. And I think the reason is not because I'm so amazing, but simply because if nothing else, I have learned to allow God to be God, to make difficult decisions, to go with his flow, to trust him in the process. So much so that sometimes it looks so crazy to people that they really think that I've lost it. A good friend of mine told me that, they were, getting a little worried about me because I hadn't been looking like myself or sounding like myself on Sunday mornings. And I'm like, look, this where I am. Like, this is what God is doing. And he said, show up, right? And let the people see, the behind the scenes. We see preachers all the time and everything looks so perfect and so amazing. We're like, oh my God, I'm the only one going through. Well, you're not. The thing is, though, we've been taught to put on the facade, put the makeup on, do our hair, dress up, get pretty, or for the guys, do whatever it is guys do, but show up, be manly, masculine, not let people see until after everything is over. And then you tell people about your trial and your tribulation, and they say, oh my God, I didn't know you were going through that. And they're like, yes, because you should never look like what you're going through, right? We're told that, right? I know I don't look like all that I'm going through. You may see some glimpses, but I don't look like all that I'm going through. Why? Because God has kept me in the midst of everything that I've gone through. Why though? Why has God kept me? What is it about me? What is it it about you? Why has God kept you? Why? What is it? What is he doing right now? You know what he's doing? Do you know what he's doing? What he's doing is he's showing us, showing you, showing me, and showing the world. Showing us what? That while you can make many plans, the Lord's purpose will prevail. It is about his purpose. It's about his purpose. You can make all the plans in the world, but his purpose will prevail. So let your planning be in conjunction with his purpose. How about that? Let your plan be his answer, the vision that he gives you, because then the two of you are working in concert, in conjunction with one another to create a manifested reality, a life, a purpose, a destiny that he's already established before the foundations of the world. And we get to do it together. But your purpose, your plans, what you want, it's never bigger than what he wants. Ever. So as we're closing out 2021 and we're starting to make our plans for 2022, you need to make sure that whatever you do, that you're consulting the one who created you, that you're seeking him for the vision, that you're seeking him for clarity, then you're seeking him for what he wants you to focus on during that time. And that's why I've been on this fast. And even that hasn't looked like I thought it would look. Even that. Like he's shifting stuff. And I'm like, God, well, I don't understand what you're doing. He said, listen, you just trust me. So today, as you're making your plans, as you are preparing for 2022, and 2022 is going to be an amazing year, y'all. So I'm telling y'all, this is the time to start planning, right? It's going to be an amazing year. You need to make sure that you're in a place where you can hear the one who created you, that you know your value, that you know that he has a plan for you in your life. Baby, that it ain't over. And I don't care what it looks like, and I don't care what happened in 2021. I don't care about your losses. I don't care about your missteps. I don't care about any of that. Listen, 2021 is not over, and 2022 is going to be amazing. But there's still work for us to do. Now, as for me, I've made a decision that, like, there's some things that I'm doing differently. And this isn't about people as much as it is about the things that God has promised me. You know, God has promised me some things, and I want everything that God has promised me, but it means that I have to allow myself to be who he created me to be. Not the product of my trauma, not the product of my fear, not the product of any abuses that I've experienced in my life, but who he created me to be. Because she is freaking amazing. And as I continue to return to her, because she's already been around. Like, when I was a little girl, she was there. That was her, baby. Listen, she showed up. And life happened. So as I am on this journey, a part of my conscious decision making is to equip those around me with the tools necessary for them to get back to who they were created to be. God didn't make any mistakes with any of us. He created us. He gave us our personality for a reason, in order to fulfill his purpose for our life. And many times we allow people and situations and things and rejection and all of that to cause us to shift those things in us so that we can be more acceptable, more palatable. You know, I'm past it. I'm in a place where I want to really help people understand that brilliance that's in them, that thing that makes them them, unique and set apart from everybody else. See, there's only one you. Even if you're a twin, there's only one you. And you don't have to be like anybody to be accepted. You just have to be you, the you that God created you to be. And if you're going to be like somebody, be like Jesus, be like God. You know what I'm saying? Be like God. Let God-like characteristics show up in your life. So that people, when they look at you, they see God. They see light. They see love. They see the positivity. We can make all the plans we want. Ultimately, God's purpose will prevail. Now, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing my 2022 vision strategy sessions. And my vision strategy sessions include God, okay? So it's not just about what you want to do. It's about really listening to the voice of God to hear what God is saying to you about you, your purpose, and your next year, right? So I teach you how to tap into that, how to do that, and then we go to work, right? Because once you get clear on that, then there's work to be done, right? We're going to dream. We're going to do vision boards, but it's more than just a vision board, right? It's creating the vision and the plan. You know, some of it, God is not going to tell you how he's going to do it, but there's some things that he's going to give you strategy for, particularly as you're starting out that first quarter of the year, like God is getting ready to lay the groundwork for it. If you all want to be a part of that, type vision in the comments, and I'll make sure you get the information. But this is what I need you to understand, that all of your vision planning and vision boarding in the world without consultation of the one who has given you purpose is problematic. Now, you can create all kinds of stuff, but at the end of the day, his purpose has to prevail. So check this out. I should be so used to this by now, but he's still just. Listen, there's someone either on who now or who will watch this broadcast, and you literally are at the point where you want to give up on life. You feel like you've taken all you can take. You can't take anymore. You can't handle anymore. It's too much. You're overwhelmed. You're at the place where death looks so much better than life. This is what I need you to know. God needs you to live, because there are people who are waiting for you to get on the other side of the place you are right now today. They need you. You may not feel like you're needed, but you are. They need you. The world needs you. You are needed. I don't want you to make a permanent decision based on a temporary situation or circumstance. I know it's a lot right now, but I promise you it'll get better. Just keep going. You just need to get to the other side. I know. I was there 2 weeks ago. So get to the other side and watch what God does and how he blows your mind. Um, hmm. There's someone out here who needs $2,100. You need $2,100 and you're trying to figure out how in the world it's going to happen. $2,100. You need $2,100. You're trying to figure out how it's going to happen. God said it's not your job to figure out how. It's your God to believe for it. Start declaring that you have it. I have everything I need. I have everything I need. I have everything I need. And watch God bring the money to you. And it's going to come from 3 different places. I see 3 different places, money coming from 3 different places to add up to what you need. But it's coming. It's somebody on here, you're having problems with your right ankle. Your right ankle has been giving you trouble. Like, it's like it just kind of gives out on you. You don't understand why it gives out on you, but it's just kind of been giving out on you. Your right ankle, your right ankle, your right ankle. It's just been giving out on you. Listen, I hate this. I hate when I be feeling stuff for people. Listen, now my right ankle. Look, come on, stop now. But your right ankle, it's been giving out on you. And you've been really worried about it. What you need to understand is it is listen. What you need to understand is God's grace is sufficient. So what happens with you is you rely a lot on your own strength. And God is saying, I don't need you to rely on your own strength. And your right side dominant, right? It's your right ankle because that's the one that you rely on the most, right? But what happens when what you rely on the most is weakened is that the other side has to be strengthened. God says, I'm strengthening your weak side so that you will stop leaning so heavily on your strength. It's in your weakness that he is made strong. In our weakness, he is made strong, right? So in your weak right ankle, he's made strong because he's strengthening your left side. Watch what God does. There are going to be some things that he just does. Watch what he does. Watch what he does. Watch what he does. God is getting ready to do some things that's going to blow all of our minds. And it's going to blow our minds because we need miracles. We need miracles. We need miracles. Y'all say, why do we need miracles? We should know we need miracles because some of our faith is wavering. We need a miracle to remind us of who God is. Now, it doesn't mean that God has to give us a miracle. It doesn't even mean that we're asking for a miracle. But God loves us so much, he knows what we need. We need miracles. His word says that miracle signs and wonders shall follow them. Right? Not only do we need miracles, we need to become other people's miracles so that they can know that God is real. His word is real. He keeps his word and his promises. Let me tell y'all something. I did, Alita. I said it'll come from 3 sources. Yeah, I saw 3 sources. Yes, Corey. Alita said she had just stepped away from the broadcast and came back to me saying that. God is doing some stuff. Y'all listen, I'm just telling y'all what I hear. I'm just telling y'all what he's saying. I want it to be already off, right? I'm emotional. I don't want to be all emotional, but I'm emotional right now. And I don't want to be on here saying this stuff, But I'm telling y'all that God is doing something that's getting ready to blow our minds, and the enemy's desire is to steal it from us, to cause us to live in fear and operate in fear, to cause us to be overwhelmed and operate in the overwhelm, to cause us to question him and doubt him and not believe him. But God says that this is the time that you need to believe me like never before. If you've never believed God for what he's promised you, now is the time to believe. And what you got to do is you got to write his answer and make it so plain that anyone can read it and run with it. They can get the correct message and run with it. Oh, this thing. Oh, he's real. God is real. And he will send things and people in our lives to show us that he's listening to us. Even the smallest things that we say, he's listening to us. He's listening to our desires, and he wants to give us the desires of our heart. He's listening to us. It's not in vain. I hear somebody saying, it's all in vain. It's all in vain. It's all in vain. It's all in vain. Right, Alita. There's always a reason. Let me tell y'all something. God will speak to us through so many things and in so many ways. And as we begin to pay attention and get in tune with how God talks to us, because he ain't got to talk to everybody the same way. Okay. Number one, first and foremost, you may say, oh, I don't believe in that number thing and angel numbers, and I don't believe in that. That may not be how he talks to you. He talks to me through numbers. He's always talked to me through numbers. Numbers have always played a huge role in my life. You just need to know how he talks to you. He may talk to you through nature. He doesn't talk to me through nature a lot because I don't really like outside like that. He talks to me through movies and television shows. He talks to me through music. He talks to me through numbers. He talks to me through people. He talks to me a lot of ways. And I just have to be open and listen and see what he's saying. He talks to me prophetically. It's just a feeling, a knowing that I have. You got to start listening to God. Don't plan without him because you'll be mad. Like I remember I used to prepare my sermons, right? I used to prepare my sermons. I write out my little something, not the whole thing, but I hit my bullet points and everything. And then God would change it every freaking time. I said, why am I doing this? Because he's going to change it. What is the point? He is going to change it. So why don't I just trust him and let him tell me what he's going to say? Because clearly it don't matter what I want to say because he's going to say what he wants to say. Trust him. You know what? We trust people sometimes more than we trust God. Now that's crazy to me, but it's true. But God's plan for our lives, baby, let me tell you something. When you really know his plan for your life and you begin to see things happening in other people's lives, you'll know, okay, God, I see you. I see you. It's getting close because it's close to me. It's close to me. You ain't got to be jealous of nobody. Just know it's close to you. I was watching Selling Tampa. And y'all know God told me a long time ago, I'm going to have a whole reality show. My life is a reality show. My family is a reality show, right? Come a long time, I'm going to have a reality show. Okay, God. So when I was watching Selling Tampa, I said, okay, God. Okay. I see you. And I have an announcement that I'm going to make next week. So y'all stay tuned for it. I got something big happening. I'm going to be letting y'all know about it. But I just felt like, wow, God, if you can do it for them, you can do it for me. There's purpose in it. It's a part of his purpose for my life. And that's why I have to be willing to put my life on display. See, you got to know what your purpose is. You got to know God's assignment for your life. If you're afraid to allow God's purpose to manifest in your life, then he can't use you fully. He can't. But when you let him do what he wants to do and needs to do in you and through you, he knows he can trust you. 2021 was all about God seeing if he could trust me. Trust me with everything. Trust me in the good times and the bad. Trust me to be real with people in my pain, in my uncertainty, in my fear. Trust me to be vulnerable. Trust me to do the work to heal. Trust me to move forward boldly. Trust me for provision. I trust him. And that's why I know 22 is going to be epic. It's going to be epic. And honestly, I can't afford to surround myself or have my life full of people who aren't willing to trust God or believe God, like obey God, like not close. Nor can I allow myself to get caught in this trap of my life has to look perfect. It doesn't. It just needs to be real. It just needs to be authentic. So I'm ready. I'm ready to hear God's plan for 22 for me and help others get to theirs. If you want to be a part of that vision session, drop that. But then I'm ready for January 8th because we're talking about being shatterproof. And I want you all to be a part of that. Listen, it's in Greensboro, North Carolina. I've got some tickets. Y'all, I got some tickets. I got a few tickets now. I got at least five tickets. That you guys can get for $25. And it's going to cost more than that. Even the virtual one will cost more than that. So you guys are going to get a special break because you are going to be there with me. Whether you're there live or whether you're there virtually, I really hope some people can come in person. Like that would be amazing. But if you can only come virtually, listen, I want you to be there. But you're going to have to get with me because these five are gone today, right? So my goal is to get rid of the 5 today. They're only $25. Yeah. So I want you guys to make sure that you get me. You're right, Alita. It is. Love and abundance. Yes, your soap business, Alita's Down to Earth Skin Creations, is going to be really big. I'm excited for you. You're always welcome for those encouraging words. That's what I do. Listen, you guys, I pray that today's message blessed you and that it reminded you first and foremost that God's purpose for your life is going to prevail. Regardless of what plans you make, his purpose is going to prevail. It's best when we work together and we plan based on his purpose. And when we do that, then we come together with God and we co-create a life, a reality, a circumstance that is awe-inspiring. And that's my goal for 22, is to create that life that people look at and say, wow, not for me, but for his glory. Like I want his glory to be like, I want people to know that nobody but God could have done it. All that I've gone through in 2021, the only one who could keep me here and in my right mind is God. He's provided me with resources. He's provided me with connections. He's provided me with nutrients that I need for it. Like he has had an entire plan. And 22 is about celebrating God's plan as it's manifesting. And baby, I plan to travel the world in the midst of what has been deemed a pandemic, right? I plan to travel the world Wow. So, and I'll talk about this later. 21 was about redemption. God just told me 22 is about domination, right? It's time to dominate. And I am excited about that. If this word blessed you, drop an offering. You can cash out $Passionate Pursuit or paypal.me/Passionate Pursuit for those contributions. If you guys want tickets to Shatterproof, put Shatterproof in the comments. Those tickets are $25. If you want to be a part of the vision strategy session, drop vision in the comments, and I'll send you the link for you to register for that. That's going to be the next 2 weeks. We've got 2 weeks that I'm going to be doing it. And I am super excited about doing that, because if we can begin to come together, if we can begin to get a clear vision, and then we discover how to be shatterproof, baby. Yes, I see you, Stacy. Yes, Alita. Creating for God's glory. Yes. Yes, dominate. I'm telling you, it is time to dominate, honey. Listen, he's already given us dominion. Now it's time to walk it out. Look, you guys, I thank you for joining us here at Passionate Pursuit for Manifested Purposes Ministries this morning, the Sunday morning. I thank you for your love, your support. I thank you for being who God has created you to be. And I thank you for not giving up on you in the midst of your journey, and not giving up on me in the midst of mine. Until next time, know this, that I love you to life, and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed.